concept of liberty is appreciated as a theory, but often not appreciated in reality. And I think that when we are dealing with conflict, when we're dealing with warring sides, the limitation of liberty is one of the first key things that each side tries to do to each other. Immediately, civilians are limited onto where they can go, going all the way up to the point where they could be taken prisoners, or the warring parties, the soldiers of each side taken prisoner. The chance to be able to limit or stop the movement of the other side, to not allow them to do anything, is always going to be the key to a victory in a conflict. Each time that I was photographing in a prison camp, regardless of the side that it was on, it was always hard to believe, especially when seeing the civilian population imprisoned. At the Heliodrome, seeing women behind bars was something that I never thought that I would see. The civilians behind bars, the civilians being mistreated, not fed, is something that you would not expect to see in the 20th century. And it was incredibly difficult and sad, yet it was incredibly important for myself and my colleagues to document this and tell the world what was happening. I think and hope that my work played a role in helping end the war sooner, but I also recognize that the images often failed in their attempt to stop the war earlier. I had thought documenting ethnic cleansing would, early on in 1992, would have stopped the war. I had thought documenting the fall of Vukovar in 1991 would have stopped the wars from continuing. I thought that being in Manjača and Ternopili would have stopped the wars earlier. I thought that being in the Heliodrome and showing people what was going on would have stopped the wars earlier. So, while I do appreciate the sentiment that the photographs helped, for myself, I think that they did not ever do enough of what needed to be done. I hope that the images are not the only hope for a victim, because they are images. It is the reaction to the images by people that have the power that's what is important. The hope that people will learn the lesson from seeing images from a previous conflict and not wanting to repeat it, that is the hope that things can be different. As we hear now, listen to the same rhetoric in Bosnia that we heard 30 years ago, the hope is that when you look at photographs from the prison camps, from ethnic cleansing, from Sarajevo, from Mostar, and are reminded what happened here not long ago, people will remember and take action to do whatever they can not to go down the same path. So the images play a role, the images remind, but it's only the actions of the individuals. They are the only ones who can stop this from going on and on and on. The role of war photographers is to inform, to put information out there, to be part of the chain of conversation about people making decisions about what to do. But it is not and cannot be the only thing. A photograph cannot stop a war without the participation of those that want to stop it. So the photographs that I've created, that I've documented and put out into the world, have to work in partnership with people that believe in a better way. If that doesn't happen, the war will go on without question. I think understanding the past, where you come from, what your parents did, your grandparents, and beyond that, is incredibly important. We as human beings, as history has proven, continue to repeat ourselves to varying degrees. Only by understanding the mistakes that were made in the past can we avoid making the same mistakes in the future. So history is incredibly important. It doesn't have to be to the point where it overwhelms the present and the future, but it always has to be there. And photography, and my work in specific to this region, should be remembered that way in order to learn lessons, to be able to move forward in the right way. But we have to understand we cannot ignore our past. We do so at our own peril. I think this country looks amazing in some ways, so much for the better than when I was here, obviously, during the war. But in other ways, incredibly disappointing. Feel often that this place has not moved forward. When you look at another genocide that occurred during the same time in the world, Rwanda, you had many more people were killed in a much shorter period of time. And you look at the success of Rwanda, given, of course, it has its own problems. And you look at where Bosnia is today, you say, how is that possible? How is one country succeeding more than the other? And with that, I think that the people themselves that live here have to make their own decisions and realize, why are we voting for the same parties over and over again? Why are we repeating the same mistakes? Why are we continuing the same rhetoric? And until those answers come, I'm not sure what will happen here. I think it was very important that my work was used at The Hague to indict and also help convict people of war crimes. I think it's important that people understand, especially going forward in the future, that when there are witnesses, when there is documentation, there will be consequences for your actions. And so that was very important to me that the work was being able to be used in that manner.